What's going on, guys? BASSFZz here, and today's video should be relatively short. I don't really think I have much to say on the topic, but I want to talk about something that's been bothering me about the discussion of free speech in general. Just in general, it's very interesting. At least I think it's an interesting qualm that I have with the conversation of when we talk about it. I've heard some people frame individuals on YouTube, such as Sargon Vakad and Lawrence Southern, as advocates of free speech or cultural libertarians, or whatever jazz that is. Which I honestly think cultural libertarian is just a word to put on people who don't want to claim to be on the right wing. That's what I think. I'm joking. Actually, no, I do think that, but I mean, it's a fucking joke. No, but on a serious notion, though, I've heard that term be thrown out, advocate of free speech, a couple of times, thrown about on different people, and that irks me a little bit. The term advocate for free speech bothers me to a great degree. Now, of course, I'm not ignorant to the world, right? I live in America, Florida to be specific. So I have a constitution, okay? I have my First Amendment. So that's the supreme law of the land, and honestly, I do feel entitled to my rights. They were written for me and fought, blood was shed in order to protect those rights. So I'm coming at this perspective as an American, but something that bothers me about the fact that people have to advocate for free speech, interestingly enough, is the fact that people have to advocate for free speech. Because as an American, I mean, why do I need to advocate for something that I already have? That bothers me. It bothers me at the fact that there are people, or the fact that people even need to have a conversation, or even need to defend the fact that people should be able to, have an opinion and, not have their entire life destroyed, right? People should be able to say, I don't think gay people should get married and not be put out of a job. Is that asking for too fucking much? I mean, see, that bothers me. The mere fact that a discussion even needs to take place in which we must plead a case in which it's okay to have an opinion that's not popular is ridiculous to me. It's strange to me because, bearing in mind, most revolutionary things that have ever occurred have been or have come from ideas that aren't very popular. And even then, most people, sometimes, say you're in a boardroom in a meeting, or you're in a production meeting, making a movie, sometimes it's good to have a perspective that's not your own. It's good to have a different, healthy perspective. And the interesting thing that gets me on Twitter, sometimes it's nice to hear somebody say something that you don't like, or that you don't agree with. That's different. I think, honestly, the thing that has oftentimes bothered me about the people who don't like hate speech or are advocates for safe spaces, which, to pause to say, I don't really have a huge problem with safe spaces in principle. I have more of a problem with them in application, and I guess I can make a whole video about that. But specifically on this topic, the thing that bothers me about these people is the fact that they completely miss the beauty of a nice discussion or an exchange of ideas. I think one of the biggest problems, aside from the fact that people can be fired from their jobs, or the fact that people can have, say, their YouTube accounts or their Twitter accounts removed, or be shadow banned because, again, they said something that the higher ups didn't like. Aside from all that, there is beauty, in intellectual combat. I like our mental kung fu. I like putting it that way. Seriously, there are great things to learn from talking to people who don't feel the way you feel. And sometimes it might hurt your feelings or you don't like it. But I think, honestly, this is a huge indication, at least to me, and I'm going to put it bluntly, of intellectual weakness. It's a huge indication of just a lack of ability to, what's the word I'm going to look for? I'm going to say, regulate your emotions, control your feelings. And I'm not saying specifically being stoic, or you have to completely remove your emotions, but come on, tone it down a little bit to be able to hear what other people have to say. I think, honestly, that's one of the worst things that come out of this conversation of people talking about or advocating for free speech on different networks or different areas. Excuse me. It's the fact that the individual who doesn't want to hear the opposite opinion, they can miss out on a lot in life, There have been plenty of times, where my sisters or my friends, or my parents have said something, you know, I had to stop and think about it, you know, and put into perspective, and it changed the way I looked at the world. You know, plenty of times I was just watching a TV show or reading some manga, you know, or watching some anime, right? Watching Cartoon Network sometimes. Sometimes, you know, on Teen Titans, I'll see something, right? You know, probably not Teen Titans, but you know, you guys catch my drift, right? You can watch cartoons and you can learn something or hear something that you never thought before, right? And it's an amazing thing. You change your whole perspective on life. And I think it sucks that a lot of people miss out on that. The beauty of I mean, like, say this, if you're a liberal, right? And if you're super harsh liberal, right, and you really don't like what conservatives have to say, I find that to be a completely ridiculous thing. I mean, because one, conservatives are just people, right? You know, they can be wrong, they can be right, you know, but you wouldn't know unless you talk to them. You know, I mean, how do you get into the mindset in which you are 100% right of all times, you can never hear what anyone else has to say, and should they say something you don't like, you remove them? I mean, the thing that gets me is, wouldn't it make more sense, just, you know, overall, to actually, like, convince the person to be on your side? Like, that's me. Like me, in my mind, my primary objective, I'm going to have a conversation with someone, I'm going to argue with someone, is to get them to think like me. Right? Because if I have more people who think like me, it might create a hive mind. But I think, you know, with my logical, rational thought, that my plan in order to make my life better or your life better is the best. And maybe you, as a liberal, you know, or you as a conservative, might have a different perspective on how to make my life better. Now, how am I going to learn these different ways to apply or try to make my life better if I never hear anything? If I never hear what the conservative has to say, or I never hear what a liberal has to say, right? I think, you know, left-right partisan politics is stupid, but I mean, you know, I'm just, you know, saying that, you know, because I guess hopefully it's easier to identify. You understand, right? Even with, say, with feminists, I don't get that, right? Something I don't get about feminists, like, you would think, right, that their primary objective would be to make more feminists, right? So why not chat with people or talk to these so-called misogynists and convince them why they're wrong? They're wrong because X, Y, Z. Wouldn't that just make any sense? So when you need free speech in order to have that conversation or to have that discussion or say what you're saying, because I mean, the thing that gets me, here's another thing that's gotten me about the free speech discussion, and I've actually gone off on a huge tangent to what I was originally talking about, but another thing that gets me is the fact that a lot of people frame the free speech discussion in one term, and that is hearing opinions you don't like, and that's normally the people who are getting censored. But for me, I feel that it goes both ways, because I need free speech to hear what I do like, right? Isn't that, I mean, and even as a feminist or as a left wing or anyone who does a hate speech, you would still need people to be able to express their emotions freely. Otherwise, you wouldn't hear the things that you do enjoy. You know, free speech, it's a two-way street. You got to take the good and you got to take the bad. But the thing about the bad, and I guess this is where the video should be wrapped up, is the fact that if you just have the mental fortitude to deal with it, or the mental fortitude to hear an opinion that's not yours, it'll never be a problem, right? Because you don't ever have to apply anything you don't like into your life. Even if someone says, I don't think gay people should, and this is fucking old, it's an oldie but a goodie, right? Even if someone says, I don't think gay people should get married, it's not doing anything. It don't stop you from getting married, right? You can still go, you know, well, it's legal everywhere now, but say fucking Nevada. I don't know if it was ever legal in Nevada before everywhere, but it's not really the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is it's an opinion you don't like, right? And maybe, not just maybe, who knows? He might have a case as to why he doesn't think gay people should get married, but you never know because you fired him from his fucking job. It might change the way you look at the whole marriage thing. It might change the way you look at your marriage with your wife or your husband, but you won't know because you didn't hear it. It's a great thing to hear different opinions, and sometimes people say stupid shit. There's no way around it. There's no way around the fact that people say dumb things. But guess what? Some people say smart things. Without free speech, you wouldn't be able to hear all those nice things you like. I mean, it's a two-way street. You gotta take the good and the bad. And with mental fortitude, you can hear an opinion that you don't like and be okay. It's okay to hear things that I hear opinions that I don't like all the time. I entertain opinions that I don't like all the time. It's okay, and look, I'm fine. You see, I'm good. You know, my hair's still nappy, but you know, it just need a comb to that. But the thing, I guess to wrap the video up, I'm a little sad that we've gotten to the point where we even need people to advocate for free speech. We even need people to get on YouTube and say, hey, I should be able to have an opinion. I don't think that we should be here. I don't think that people should have to advocate for a right that they already have. That I have to fight for something I already have. And of course, the counter argument, which I'm obviously going to straw man because I'm not responding to a video, so I can't put it out in front of you and I don't remember it. But some people would then say that private companies have no obligation to house opinions that they don't like, which is true. It's true. It's true. They don't. They don't have any obligation. They do, on the other hand, have an obligation to be honest about what they're going to house. But I mean, what you would think if they want customers or they want users, you know, to be able to work on their site functionally. But you're right. You know, if you say that private companies, they do not have an obligation to cater to anyone's opinion, and they can ban you for whatever reason. You're right. But just because they can, doesn't mean they should. You know, after all, I mean, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. So, I guess the last thing to say is, yeah, it's true. Private companies, you know, they're not the government. The First Amendment may not apply to them, but here's the thing, you know, principles should apply to them, right? You know, a principle, a standard should apply to them. Because once again, when it all comes down to it, when it comes to free speech, when it comes to exchanging ideas, it doesn't matter what it is. Because if you like an opinion, if you like what the person said, they have to have the freedom to say it. And with that, some people have to have the ability to say things you don't like. So free speech, it's not as simple as I'm just being censored. It's you might lose what you like to hear. So you gotta think about it on that. If you're a person who doesn't like hate speech or who wants to ban people who said something you don't like, maybe someone might like it. Unless we're talking about sacrificing children to the demon god Cthulhu, right? Unless we're talking about resurrecting Dracula. I mean, I think it's okay for someone to say, I don't fucking know. I mean, like, some conservative position, I don't know. I don't even know what bothers people about conservatives. I can't give an example off the top of my head, but I've seen it happen a lot on Twitter. So I'm just saying, you know. I'm just saying, you know. I'm just something on the internet. Who knows? And I'm rambling. I guess to wrap the video up, finally, free speech comes two ways, right? In order to get the good stuff that you like, you gotta take the bad stuff too. And when you have the mental fortitude to deal with it, you don't need an advocate for free speech. You just need to have the principle and the strength of mind to deal with stuff that you don't like and appreciate the stuff that you do. So that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. And I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.